stepping into the Zoom. Big love, bold words. It's the elephant in the room.
Good day, beautiful people. It's another beautiful day here in Joburg. It's hardly winter. It's sunny and warm. And I am so excited to be here today for another episode of Heart to Heart with Leigh Joy, the Elephant in the Room show. I am so excited to have Clement with me today. And normally the roles are reversed and you're the one that's interviewing me. So I'm so grateful that you're giving me an opportunity to interview you. We normally hang out on Radio 702, and people can go and have a look on YouTube to see all our interviews that have been uploaded there in the past or on my website. Clement, I've also touched to have you here today. Thank you for joining us.
Man, Leigh Joy, thank you. It's a bit awkward today because I'm on the other side where you always when you come on my show. So I'm very happy to be here. Thank you for the invite.
Oh, exciting. So with the Elephant in the Room show, Heart to Heart with Leigh Joy, there are 4 different topics that we speak on, which is dating, relationships, self-mastery, and leadership. And I'm wondering if you had to think about the elephant in the room, you know, the unsaid, unspoken, or maybe it's said and spoken, but a little bit more silently, you know, whispers behind curtains, with regards to those topics. Which would you say is the out of those topics, would you say is the elephant in the room that people are not speaking about?
Sure. There's a lot that we're not speaking about, right? As a society and as people. I mean, I'm just thinking at the top of my head now, when it comes to relationships, for instance, I think money is often not spoken about, and that can really be a source of a lot of contention and conflict and uncomfortability, discomfort. And I think that for me, in fact, in my broader experience, has been the elephant in the room is why are we so uncomfortable to talk about money? But also from the conversations that I've had with people like you, even on my radio show, still on relationships, I think we are not talking about intimacy enough with our partners. And for some reason, we don't want to do a whole review or plan around intimacy. We think it's supposed to just be done in whatever way it is done and we move on, as opposed to, you know, talk about what we like and also review after whatever intimacy you've had and talk about what works and what doesn't work. So I think in relationships, those for me would be the 2 elephants in the room.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you. I mean, we look at financial intimacy, right? Like how intimate do we get with our partners around finances, and how finances could really be an opportunity for a couple to be a team, right? Mm-hmm. And to bring their finances together and decide together how they're going to be spending. Whereas I think more and more women are wanting to be independent financially, and I think that I think in some ways it's great because, you know, women and our mothers were stuck in marriages that were to some degree largely unhealthy because they were overpowered by their partners, and their partners or husbands decided what the money was spent on. So there's this overcapitulation where women have gone into the space of, well, you know, And a lot of women are earning more than men nowadays. So it is a contentious issue. And I think there is this thing where money and power are equated. And I think that is dangerous. I think that's what I absolutely agree with you, is what breaks down the fabric of a relationship. Because the fabric of a relationship should be around teamwork and pooling sources. And those are different sources, right? Money, time, energy, experience, skills. Whereas I think at the moment, money is like the most hallowed or worshipped resource within a relationship. So I totally agree with you there. And then intimacy, I like that about having, you know, how... like what do we like from a sexual intimate point of view, but then how do we, so now we've done that, but let's do a review of that. I really like that. I think I must come on the show and we must talk about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I was speaking to Krista Kutsia about sexuality within a relationship, and she was like, "It has to be fun," and I was like, "She's so right because it's such a serious thing, like intimacy is like we must have sex, but meanwhile it's meant to be this playful, fun thing that we enjoy and we enjoy each other, and it's not the same every time because we're playing." So I love that. I love that. I love that.
You must be comfortable enough to say, "Oh yeah, today was average," or "Oh, today was really good." Whoa, and I think until we can get there, we are always going to feel unsure and be uncertain, and until we can have those honest conversations, because they're also going to really enrich us as a couple, right? When we talk about what works for you, what do you actually like? What do you not like? That helps me become a better partner to you. It helps you become a better partner to me. And I don't know, but for people like who do this kind of work, I think we are, as a society, going to get to a point where we're more open about these conversations. Because also how we were raised, Leigh, I mean, some of us come from backgrounds where sex was not spoken about, completely out of the narrative. And we only had to learn ourselves about intimacy as we grew older. And as opposed to someone sit us across and say, this is what you can expect, and this is how you protect yourself. This is how you start this thing. This is when you start doing it. So yeah, I think that has also contributed in just the prohibition around conversations when it comes to it.
Yeah, and I think that our parents didn't necessarily know how to. I mean, I know from my upbringing was like you don't have sex before marriage, and I mean there are very few children that don't, or young people that keep themselves for marriage, right? There's this sex thing is intriguing, It's like, what is this all about? Apparently, it's really great, and so then I think that I definitely think that there's a gap of elders sharing with younger people around what healthy sexuality looks like. And I think that a lot of people are going to porn to learn what sex looks like and I think it's unhealthy because people are being objectified, not just the women, the men are being objectified as well. So there's this. And because everybody's doing it, and it's suddenly normalized what sex looks like. Yeah, and I think there are different types of sex, right? There's like raunchy, loud, out there sex, and then there's lovemaking, and there's different spaces in between. And I think it's so important to
only shows you one side, doesn't shows you like the crazy over the top, doesn't show you like cuddles or non-penetrative sex where it's all about love and, bonding and creating that connection, which then, if that becomes your source of knowledge, then it can be misleading because then you've got expectations that are not real.
Yeah, and the desire to feel connected to and have that intimacy is then lost because it's like, I'm not getting it from porn. I'm not getting it from acting out in a pornographic way with my partner. Then there's like massive disillusion and disconnect from self around what healthy sexuality looks like. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I think that understanding ourselves as sexual beings is so important. If I look at the self-care tripod model that I take, or the self-care process or program that I help people develop for themselves, sexuality is one part of that. And I think that we can't take it off the table. We can't. It's not healthy to take it off the table. I think that understanding ourselves sexually is as important as understanding ourselves, say, financially.
I absolutely agree with you.
So I wonder if sex and money aren't tied together in some way.
Yeah, I wonder. I really wonder, and if they are tied, then if you are not having conversations about sex, will that show up in spaces where you need to have conversations about money and vice versa? But yeah, as I said, I do think those are the two things for me that I find are they're the big elephants in the room, and it may very well be that they're linked because we just find them so uncomfortable to talk about. But we're getting there.
Yeah, I agree with you. We are getting there, and I think that they're two power struggles, or they have the possibility to have power struggles within a relationship, and there's this old school expectation where if I buy you dinner, that means we're going to have sex, and so I think that I just. And also, yeah, you bought me dinner, let's have sex. There's I think that if we're given the tools to be able to have open conversations around finances and have open conversations around sexuality, I think that there will be a better flow within a relationship, absolutely. But it takes the other elements of spirituality and emotional intelligence and intellectual intelligence to be able to have those balanced conversations, and to be creative around how does that actually happen. Yeah, I'm going to take a totally different dive because I so admire you with your running, and I know that it's something that's really precious to you. And where did it start? Where did running start?
So I started running a couple of years ago, and honestly, I wasn't a big fan of running. I remember I had a friend who used to do 20 kilometers, and I used to think, you must be crazy. And then I started joining this friend of mine, and I would only do 3Ks, 5 kilometers. This is now just before COVID. And I think that's when the running bug hit me. In fact, during COVID, that's when it hit me hard. And I think it was probably because it was my way of coping with the uncertainty at the time. And just everything else that was happening, people were losing jobs. I mean, all of us know someone who has died from COVID, or who has lost a job due to COVID, or lost a business. So there was a lot, I think, weighing on me in 2020. And I just needed sort of an outlet, that was one of my outlets. And I think that's when really the bug caught me. And I've been running ever since. I started with just 5Ks all the way up to almost 90Ks at Comrades Marathon. So I'm really happy to still be able to run. And I don't think it's anything that's going to stop anytime soon.
Well, didn't you do the London Marathon as well, if I remember?
Yeah, I've done a lot of marathons. In London, I've done Ibiza Marathon, I've done Paris, I'm doing Berlin in September, I'm doing New York in November. So there are a lot. And I mean, locally, I've probably done, I don't know, many of the major races you can think of, I've already done locally. So, and that's the thing as a runner is, you start running and then you do the Soweto Marathon, you do Cape Town Marathon, you do running Mpumalanga, and then you start thinking, oh, I wonder what the terrain feels like outside of the country. And then that becomes your obsession. And I think that's where I am. As a golfer, because I golf as well, when you've played at golf courses around the country, you wonder, oh, I wonder what it's like in Paris. You start Googling golf. Every time I travel, I try check, okay, does the place have good golf courses so I can take my clubs? 2, are there any marathons or running, taking place during the time I'm there? And I try sort of, curate my program according to some of those interests.
Beautiful, beautiful. I mean, they talk about runner's high. How long does it last normally, like a runner's high?
It depends. For me, it definitely depends on the marathon that you run. When I finished the London Marathon, I mean, that's one of the greatest ever majors. I felt so good. And the reason I say it depends one on the marathon, but it also depends on your performance at the marathon. London Marathon, I finished in 3 hours, 36 minutes. That
Wow.
was my best for a 42 kilometers. And I've never been able to beat that record. I mean, now when I go to Berlin, I'm gonna try beat it because I'm trying to push for 3 hours, 30 minutes. So when something like that happens in the London Marathon, your runner's high is gonna last probably for like a week or two. And then you've got the Comrades Marathon where you run almost 84, 87 kilometers. When you finish the Comrades Marathon, that runner's high could last you for a month. So
Amazing.
yeah, it really depends on which marathon it is and how did you perform in it.
Amazing, amazing. And if you think about like running, what is it when you're running, you're running your marathon and I'm sure there've been moments where you're like, I can't even finish this race. I don't even know how I'm going to get to the finish line. Where do you go to in yourself that helps you do that, get you past the finish line?
So there's a part of us as human beings that we reach out to. I mean, I'll give you an example using the Comrades Marathon because that's really the toughest. I mean, they call it the ultimate human race, and that's because of there's nothing that compares to it. And you really get challenged. It's not about physical fitness. You can be as fit as professional athletes. Even they need mental strength to be able to finish Comrades because there comes a point during the Comrade Marathon when your fitness can't do anything for you. Your legs tell you that I've done what I could. I've pushed you up to 65 kilometers. Beyond this, I can't. And you feel it in your body. And that's when you reach somewhere within you. Some people pray, some people start singing, hymns. There are other people who start calling their loved ones at like the 70-kilometer mark. And I think for me, what I do is I start visualizing myself crossing the finish line.
Mm-hmm.
And that's always quite, because I know how good it feels, and I can never compare the feeling of crossing the finish line at Comrades with anything really. Mm-hmm. So I start imagining that, and I start just appreciating sort of the journey that I've been through. Because one of the things you learn, it's endurance. We have to learn to endure the pain that you have to run in. And once you endure, and while you endure the pain, you need to be able to have the mental strength to really push yourself through. So that's what I do. I visualize, I pray as well. And for me, that's what works. That's how I reach out to whatever is within me to push me to the finish. Other people rely on other things. But yeah, for me, prayer and visualizing what it's going to feel like at the end is what really keeps me going.
Amazing. You can imagine that when you reach your goal, when you finish, you've gotten over the finishing line. And then whatever happens in your day and your week, like for a few weeks later, you're like, whatever, I did the marathon. I like crossed the line. So it's not just a visualization going forward, but you're living your life and you're looking back at what you have achieved and how that's able to really muster you to go forward and do more marathons and achieve more with your life. So it's like building bricks. You've got like this experience in life where you've built moments of firstly visualizing and then achieving, visualizing, achieving. And does that sit within your body? Is that something that feels embodied when you may be dealing with other things that are a little bit more tricky out of life or tricky in a different way? Excuse me.
Yeah. I think, that's like just the standard principle I apply throughout my life. So the thing about running is that it teaches you discipline. That's what I appreciate the most about running, because I can use some of what I learned in the sport to apply in other aspects of my life. So discipline, one, is very important when you are training, because, I mean, can you imagine in the middle of winter, Leigh, and you have to wake up at 4 a.m. to go running? before you go to work. That's really difficult. Or maybe your best friend is getting married on a Saturday, and that's when you have to do your last long run before comrades. You have to run 60 Ks on the day. So there's so many sacrifices to make. So you stop doing certain things. So discipline is quite important in the sport. And I apply that in other aspects of my life. But I also do like setting goals, meeting them, and enjoying the benefits thereafter. Whether it's I'm launching something, or I'm going to start a TV show, a radio show, or I'm going to go and MC an event, or whatever I'm going to do, I always set a standard. I plan accordingly because I'm also quite a perfectionist. So I tend to really over prepare myself, almost with anything I'm doing. So once I meet that goal and I achieve whatever I've set myself to, I do allow myself to enjoy the benefits that come with that, or the post-achievement moments. I like that. And that's one of the things that I also intentionally look forward to, because I think sometimes there's a lot of things we achieve and we don't take enough time to pause and also just appreciate ourselves and just bask in the glory of that glory of that achievement. And I think for me, that's what works: is set the goal. When you reach it, let's also acknowledge it. That
enjoy it.
Enjoy it.
Yeah. I appreciate you, and I appreciate what you bring to us, in all the different endeavors that you're busy with, TV, radio. I know that it hasn't always been easy. There have been some really tough moments for you where there's been total misunderstanding of your intention. And but I see you. I see your heart, and I see that you want to bring topics and conversations to the world that matter, and that where people can feel seen and heard, and that they're not alone. So I witness your endeavor to do that, and I honor you for that, and I know we are fellow travelers in that way. So I'm so grateful that you've joined me today. Thank you for inviting me time and time and time again, and not getting tired of me for our conversations on 702. I wish you all the best. When's your next race?
So the next one, so I'm going to do a few local ones, but that's for training. The main ones is in September, I'm doing the Berlin Marathon. And then in November, I'm doing the New York Marathon. Okay. And then immediately when we start training for comrades.
Okay, nice. Yeah, you did say that you were going to go to Berlin. I'd love to go to Berlin. My partner was born in Berlin, and I would love to go to a nightclub in Berlin, like wear their leathers and...
Yeah. I'll go fill it out for you. I'll tell you how it was.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us today. I want to actually ask Ndlovu, my co-host, what topic should we ask him about? Endurance? Should we ask him about intimacy? What topic do you feel today was something that you'd want to hear from a wise African poet?
A wise African poet. I would like to hear about intimacy, actually.
Intimacy.
I wonder what your thoughts are about that.
What are your thoughts on intimacy? Let's see what he says. Okay, send. And Ndlovu is thinking. He's so cool. Let me show you what he looks like.
Oh, that's like that. Oh, nice.
Okay, so he says, intimacy is the fire two people choose to tend together, not the flame that rises fast and burns the hut down, the coal that glows low, long, and does not ask for witnesses. The ancestor does not say, know each other quickly. The ancestor says, let the path wear itself into knowing. Intimacy, Leigh Joy, is not the mask removed. It is the moment you no longer remember you wore one. You wore one, as in you wore a mask. The baobab does not grow closer to another baobab by leaning. It grows deep first, then the roots recognize each other in the dark. What the world calls closeness, Leigh Joy, the elders call trust, that is learned to breathe without counting.
Love it.
Beautiful, eh?
Quite a wise man.
He is indeed a wise man. Awesome. Thank you for joining us today. I've had a lovely, beautiful conversation with Clement. I would like to invite you to go and have a look at our membership lounge, at the different memberships we have available. It would be awesome to have you on board and to share our resources with you. Thank you for this beautiful day. I wish you well and take special care. Bye. Okay, cool. So what stood out for you today?
Jeez, there's a lot. I really have just enjoyed the conversation, but I also liked what Ndlovu said about just allowing sometimes, because I think sometimes we really get to obsess about, okay, what do we need to do to get intimacy right? Or what do we need to do to get to know each other? But I mean, Ndlovu says sometimes just allow yourselves to get into the path of knowing and knowing each other. I think sometimes we can be stiff about it. And, you know, the thing that irks me, Leigh, is when people want to use the framework of other people's love experience. Yes, and I think there's advice we can take about what to do, what not to do in relationships, because many of these things are quite common. But I think what's worked for Leigh is not necessarily going to work for me. That's what sometimes we obsess about. So it's important sometimes to allow you and your partner to figure it out. Like as Ndlovu said, get on the path of just knowing each other and whatever form that takes. It doesn't have to be restricted to this particular thing.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And that playfulness, right? Of what is, our bed becomes a playground rather than like this bed of sex, you know, like it rather becomes a place where we can, where we can play and we can be open to discovering ourselves and each other in a different way. So I love what you just said about not cookie cutting our past experience with somebody. It was this way and therefore it needs to be this way with this person, and just being more open to receiving each other in an intimate way.
Yeah.
Awesome. God bless you. I'm sending you so much love. Thank you so much for joining me today. I love this. I really love this.
I'll see you soon on my show.
Yeah, that'll be amazing.
Yes.
Take care.
Real talk. There's an elephant in the room. Heart to heart with Leigh Joy.